The sun was setting on the small village of Millbrook. Its orange glow painted the sky, casting long shadows across the dusty streets. In the heart of the village, a young boy named Tommy played alone in his front yard. He was only 7 years old, with messy brown hair and bright blue eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Tommy tossed a worn baseball high into the air, giggling as he tried to catch it. His parents watched from the porch, smiling at their son's innocent joy. It was a peaceful evening, like many others in this quiet corner of Earth. But in the blink of an eye, everything changed. A low hum filled the air, growing louder with each passing second. Tommy stopped playing and looked up, his mouth hanging open in wonder. A massive shadow fell over the village as a strange ship appeared in the sky. It was unlike anything the villagers had ever seen. Sleek, metallic, and impossibly large. "Tommy, come inside," his mother called out, fear evident in her voice. But the boy stood frozen, staring at the alien craft with a mix of fear and fascination. Inside the ship, Lieutenant Zax of the Galactic Empire peered down at the primitive planet below. He sneered at the sight of the small human settlement. "Pathetic creatures," he muttered to himself. His orders were clear: observe and report. No contact was to be made with the locals. But as Zax's cold eyes fell on Tommy, something snapped inside him. Here was a chance to prove the superiority of the Empire over these undeveloped beings. Without a second thought, he activated the ship's weapon system. A beam of intense light shot from the ship, striking the ground where Tommy stood. The boy didn't even have time to scream. In an instant, he was gone, vaporized by alien technology far beyond human understanding. The village erupted into chaos. Tommy's parents rushed from the porch, their agonized cries piercing the evening air. Neighbors poured out of their homes, pointing and shouting at the sky in terror and disbelief. Zax smirked, satisfied with his display of power. He hadn't expected the human child to disappear so completely. "Weak species," he chuckled, preparing to leave Earth's atmosphere. But as the ship began to rise, something unexpected happened. The grief-stricken villagers, acting on pure instinct and rage, began hurling whatever they could find at the alien craft. Rocks, tools, and even kitchen appliances bounced harmlessly off its hull. Zax laughed at their pitiful attempts to fight back. These humans were even more primitive than he had thought. With a final burst of power, the ship shot upwards, disappearing into the darkening sky within seconds. The village was left in stunned silence. Tommy's parents collapsed to the ground where their son had stood moments ago, sobbing uncontrollably. Neighbors gathered around them, offering comfort even as they struggled to process what they had just witnessed. As night fell, the first emergency vehicles arrived. Police officers and government officials swarmed the area, questioning witnesses and securing the scene. News of the incident spread like wildfire across the globe. In the days that followed, the world watched in horror as video footage of the attack, captured on a villager's smartphone, went viral. Governments held emergency meetings, scientists debated the implications of alien contact, and ordinary people everywhere felt a mix of fear and anger. But in the hearts of Tommy's parents and the people of Millbrook, there was only pain and a burning desire for justice. They didn't know how, but they vowed that the beings responsible for this senseless act would pay for what they had done. Little did Lieutenant Zax and the Galactic Empire know, but their cruel act had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity, faced with an undeniable threat from the stars, would not take this attack lying down. The gears of revenge had begun to turn, setting in motion events that would reshape the galaxy itself. As Earth's leaders debated their next move, a single question echoed across the planet. How do you fight an enemy with technology so advanced it seemed like magic? The answer, born from humanity's grief and determination, would soon shock the galaxy to its core. The world changed overnight. People everywhere woke up to the shocking news of Tommy's death at the hands of an alien force. TV screens, phones, and computers buzzed with the same horrifying video. A strange ship, a flash of light, and a little boy gone forever. In New York City, the United Nations building was surrounded by angry protesters. They carried signs with pictures of Tommy and shouted for action. Inside, world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was tense, filled with fear and anger. "We must respond," shouted the U.S. president, slamming his fist on the table. "This attack on an innocent child cannot go unanswered." Other leaders nodded in agreement, but the question remained: how could Earth fight back against an enemy with such advanced technology? Meanwhile, in a small lab in Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka watched the news with tears in her eyes. She had been working on secret space technology for years. Now she knew it was time to reveal her work to the world. Dr. Tanaka picked up her phone with shaking hands. "Get me the Prime Minister," she said to her assistant. "I have something that might help us fight back." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Scientists, engineers, and military experts came forward with ideas and secret projects. The world's brightest minds were united in one goal: to defend Earth and avenge Tommy. In London, hackers worked day and night to break into any alien communications they could find. In Moscow, weapons designers drew up plans for new types of missiles and laser guns. In Cape Town, astronomers scanned the skies for any sign of the alien ship's return. Social media exploded with messages of support for Tommy's family and calls for action. The hashtag #JusticeForTommy trended worldwide. People shared their own stories of seeing strange lights in the sky, wondering if Earth had been watched by aliens for years without knowing it. Tommy's parents appeared on TV, their faces lined with grief, but their eyes burning with determination. "Our son was innocent," Tommy's father said, his voice breaking. "We demand justice, not just for Tommy, but for all of humanity. We will not let his death be in vain." Their words touched hearts around the world. Donations poured in to fund space research and defense programs. Children broke open their piggy banks, and billionaires pledged billions. Everyone wanted to do their part. In a hidden bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Sarah Chen of the newly formed Earth Defense Force addressed her team. "We face an enemy unlike any we've ever known," she said, her voice firm. "But make no mistake, we will fight, and we will win. The Galactic Empire has no idea what they've awakened." As General Chen spoke, screens behind her lit up with designs for sleek new spaceships and powerful weapons. The room buzzed with excitement and nervous energy. These men and women knew they were part of something historic, humanity's first steps towards becoming a true space-faring civilization. Back in Millbrook, Tommy's hometown, something extraordinary was happening. People from all over the world had come to pay their respects. The small village had become a symbol of humanity's unity in the face of an alien threat. Candles flickered in the town square, surrounding a large photo of Tommy's smiling face. People of all ages, races, and nationalities stood together, holding hands and vowing to protect their planet. As night fell, a strange hush came over the crowd. Someone pointed to the sky, gasping in awe. A meteor shower had begun, filling the darkness with streaks of light. But these were no ordinary meteors. Dr. Tanaka's voice came over the emergency broadcast system. "Citizens of Earth, do not be alarmed. What you're seeing are test flights of our new defense satellites. For the first time in history, we have the technology to protect our entire planet." Cheers erupted around the world. From the streets of New York to the beaches of Australia, people looked up at the sky with new hope in their hearts. Earth was no longer defenseless. In the depths of space, unaware of the storm brewing on the little blue planet, Lieutenant Zax reported back to his superiors. "The primitive species has been dealt with, sir. They pose no threat to the Empire." How wrong he was. Earth was awakening, and the Galactic Empire would soon learn the cost of underestimating humanity's resolve. The battle for Tommy, and for Earth, had only just begun. The world had changed in just a few short weeks. Cities that once bustled with everyday life now hummed with a new kind of energy. Factories that used to make cars and computers now produced parts for spaceships. Schools taught children about alien technology alongside math and science. At the heart of this global transformation was Project Vengeance. Its goal was simple but ambitious: to build 700,000 battleships capable of taking on the Galactic Empire. It was a number that would have seemed impossible just a month ago. Now it was humanity's only hope. In a massive underground facility in the Sahara Desert, Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked tirelessly. Her team of engineers from every corner of the globe surrounded her, each focused on their own piece of the puzzle. "We've done it!" shouted a young engineer from India. He held up a small glowing cube. "The quantum drive is stable. We can now travel faster than light." Cheers erupted around the room. Dr. Tanaka smiled, but her eyes remained serious. "Excellent work, everyone. But remember, this is just the beginning. We need to make 700,000 of these, and quickly." Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, construction had already begun on the first wave of battleships. Astronauts worked alongside robots, piecing together massive hulls that gleamed in the sunlight. Each ship was a marvel of human ingenuity, packed with weapons and defenses that no one could have imagined just weeks ago. General Sarah Chen floated in zero gravity, inspecting the progress. She spoke into her communicator. "How are we doing on crew training, Colonel?" "Better than expected, General," came the reply. "Millions have volunteered. We're using virtual reality simulations to train them faster than ever before. But we're still short on experienced commanders." Chen nodded grimly. "We'll have to learn fast. The fate of our species depends on it." Back on Earth, in a small town in Brazil, a young girl named Maria sat in her classroom. The teacher pointed to a holographic display of the Milky Way galaxy. "Today we'll learn about our new enemies," the teacher said. "The Galactic Empire controls this part of the galaxy." A large section of the map turned red. Maria raised her hand. "But teacher, how do we know where they are if we've never been to space before?" The teacher smiled. "Excellent question, Maria. Our new quantum telescopes can see farther than ever before, and our hackers have broken into some of the Empire's communications. We're learning more every day." In Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered once again. The U.S. President stood at the podium, his face etched with determination. "My fellow citizens of Earth," he began, "I'm proud to announce that the first 1,000 battleships of our fleet are complete. But we cannot stop here. The road ahead is long and dangerous. We ask for your continued support and sacrifice." Across the globe, people watched the speech on screens big and small. In a refugee camp in Syria, a group huddled around a small radio. In a high-rise apartment in Singapore, a family held hands as they listened. In a fishing village in Alaska, workers paused to hear the news. The message was clear: humanity was all in this together. But not everyone was focused solely on building ships and weapons. In a secret lab in Switzerland, a team of scientists worked on a different kind of project. "If we can understand their language," said Dr. Elena Rossi, "maybe we can negotiate peace. Not all conflicts need to end in war." Her colleagues nodded in agreement. They knew their work might be humanity's last hope for a peaceful solution. As the sun set on another day of feverish preparation, Tommy's parents stood in their backyard, looking up at the stars. The father held a small toy rocket that had belonged to their son. "Do you think he would be proud of us?" the mother asked softly. The father squeezed her hand. "I think he would be amazed. Look how far we've come, how united we are. Whatever happens next, Tommy's memory has made us stronger." In the vast darkness of space, unaware of the storm brewing on Earth, the Galactic Empire continued its business as usual. They had no idea that a small blue planet was preparing the largest fleet in the history of the galaxy. Humanity's vengeance was coming, and it would shake the stars themselves. The day had finally arrived. Earth's massive fleet of 700,000 battleships was ready to launch. Cities around the world fell silent as people gathered to watch the historic moment on giant screens. In Cape Canaveral, now transformed into Earth's primary spaceport, General Sarah Chen stood before a sea of reporters. Her usually stern face showed a hint of excitement. "Today," she announced, "humanity takes its first step into the galactic stage. We go not just to avenge young Tommy, but to secure our place among the stars." As if on cue, the ground began to rumble. In the distance, massive ships rose into the air, their engines glowing with otherworldly energy. The sight was both beautiful and terrifying. Aboard the flagship, renamed Tommy's Hope, Captain Maria Rodriguez took her place in the command chair. She had been a school teacher just months ago. Now she carried the hopes of billions on her shoulders. "All systems check," her young crew reported. Their voices trembled with a mix of fear and excitement. Maria took a deep breath. "For Tommy, for Earth," she said quietly. Then, louder, "Engage quantum drive." The stars outside the viewscreen blurred into streaks of light. Earth's fleet had begun its long journey across the galaxy. Back on Earth, Dr. Yuki Tanaka watched the launch from her lab. Tears of joy and worry rolled down her cheeks. Her greatest creation was now racing towards an uncertain fate. "Good luck," she whispered. Then she turned to her team. "Our work isn't done. We need to keep improving our technology. The fate of our species may depend on it." As days turned into weeks, Earth's fleet encountered wonders beyond imagination. They saw stars being born in massive nebulae, narrowly avoided black holes, and marveled at the sheer beauty of the cosmos. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Strange malfunctions plagued some ships. Food synthesizers produced odd-tasting meals, and the constant darkness of space began to wear on the crew's minds. Captain Rodriguez faced each challenge with determination. "We knew this wouldn't be easy," she told her crew during a particularly rough day. "But remember why we're here. Remember Tommy." The mention of the boy's name always brought a solemn silence. His story had become a rallying cry, a reminder of what they were fighting for. As they ventured deeper into unknown space, Earth's fleet made its first contact with alien life. A small scout ship approached cautiously. "Unknown vessels," a strange voice crackled over the comm. "Identify yourselves." Captain Rodriguez straightened her uniform. This was the moment they had prepared for. "We are the United Fleet of Earth," she replied. "We seek audience with the Galactic Empire." There was a long pause. Then, "Earth, we have no record of your world. Please state your business." Rodriguez's voice was firm. "Justice, and recognition of our right to exist free from fear." The alien ship quickly retreated, no doubt to report this unexpected encounter. Word of Earth's massive fleet spread quickly through the galaxy. Some alien races watched with fear, others with curiosity. A few even sent secret messages of support, having suffered under the Empire's rule themselves. On a distant planet, in a luxurious palace, Emperor Zorn of the Galactic Empire received the news. His multiple eyes narrowed in anger. "Impossible," he roared. "No primitive world could produce such a fleet." He turned to his advisors. "Find out everything about this Earth, and prepare our forces. If these upstarts want to fight, we'll give them one they'll never forget." Little did the Emperor know, Earth's fleet was not alone in its journey. Following at a discreet distance was a small, sleek ship. Inside, Dr. Elena Rossi and her team of linguists and diplomats watched carefully. "We must be ready," Rossi said, "in case a chance for peace presents itself. War should always be the last resort." As Earth's fleet pressed on, the crew's thoughts often turned to home. They had left behind families, friends, and a planet forever changed. But in their hearts burned a fierce determination. They were no longer just Earthlings. They were the defenders of humanity, venturing into the unknown to secure their place in the stars. The real test was yet to come. But for now, 700,000 ships strong, they journeyed on, carrying with them the hopes, dreams, and righteous anger of an entire world. After weeks of travel through the vastness of space, Earth's fleet finally entered the outer regions of the Galactic Empire. Tension filled the air as the crew of each ship prepared for their first real encounter with the enemy. Captain Maria Rodriguez stood on the bridge of Tommy's Hope, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Multiple contacts approaching, Captain," shouted her young radar officer, his voice cracking with excitement and fear. Maria's heart raced, but her voice remained calm. "Battle stations, everyone. This is what we've trained for." As if materializing from thin air, a swarm of Imperial ships appeared before them. Their sleek, dark forms contrasted sharply with Earth's bulkier vessels. "Attention, Earth Fleet," a cold voice crackled over the comm. "This is Admiral Sand of the Galactic Empire. You are trespassing in Imperial space. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Maria took a deep breath. This was the moment that would define humanity's future. She pressed the comm button. "This is Captain Rodriguez of Earth," she replied, her voice steady. "We come seeking justice for an unprovoked attack on our world. We will not surrender." There was a moment of silence. Then, without warning, the Imperial ships opened fire. The space around them erupted into chaos. Laser beams and energy torpedoes crisscrossed the void. Earth's ships, despite their new technology, were caught off guard by the ferocity of the attack. "Evasive maneuvers," Maria shouted. "Return fire." The crew sprang into action. Gunners targeted the enemy ships, while pilots performed incredible feats to dodge incoming fire. On Earth, billions watched the battle unfold through quantum-linked screens. In living rooms and public squares, people held their breath, praying for their loved ones fighting so far from home. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, watching from her lab, clenched her fists. "Come on," she whispered. "Show them what we can do." Back in space, the tide of battle began to turn. Earth's ships, while less advanced, had the advantage of numbers, and they fought with a desperation born from defending their very right to exist. One by one, Imperial ships exploded or retreated. Admiral San watched in disbelief as his fleet was pushed back. "Impossible," he muttered. "These primitives, how can they be so strong?" As the battle raged on, a small, unnoticed ship weaved through the chaos. Dr. Elena Rossi and her team worked frantically, analyzing the Empire's communications. "We're breaking through their encryption," one of her linguists exclaimed. "We might be able to send a message directly to their high command." Rossi nodded grimly. "Let's hope it's not too late for diplomacy." Hours passed, and the space around them became littered with debris from both sides. Earth had won its first major victory, but at a heavy cost. Many ships were damaged or destroyed, their brave crews lost to the cold vacuum of space. As the Imperial forces retreated, Captain Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. They had done it. They had stood up to the mighty Galactic Empire and survived. But their victory was short-lived. As the fleet regrouped, a massive shape appeared on their long-range scanners. It was an Imperial ship unlike any they had ever seen, a planet killer, capable of destroying entire worlds. "By all that's holy," Maria whispered, her face pale. "How do we fight that?" Meanwhile, on the Imperial capital world, Emperor Zorn raged at his advisors. "How were we defeated by these ants?" he roared. "Prepare the Annihilator. We'll crush their entire fleet in one blow." Little did the Emperor know, his words were being listened to. In her stealth ship, Dr. Rossi had managed to tap into the Imperial communications network. She heard the order for the planet killer with growing horror. "We have to warn the fleet," she said urgently. "But maybe we can do more than that." An idea began to form in her mind. It was risky, perhaps even foolish. But if it worked, it might end this war before it consumed more lives. As both sides prepared for the next, potentially devastating battle, the fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The sacrifices made, the lives lost, the very memory of young Tommy. All of it would be tested in the fiery crucible of what was to come. In the eerie calm before the storm, Captain Rodriguez looked out at the stars. "Whatever happens," she said softly, "we've shown them that humanity is not to be underestimated. We've made Tommy proud." With that thought, she turned back to her crew, ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. The massive shape of the Imperial planet killer loomed before Earth's fleet. Its size defied belief, dwarfing even the largest of Earth's battleships. Captain Maria Rodriguez felt a chill run down her spine as she stared at the monstrosity through the view screen. "All ships, battle formations," she ordered, her voice steady despite her fear. "Remember your training. Remember Earth. Remember Tommy." As Earth's fleet moved into position, the Imperial planet killer began to glow with an ominous light. Energy readings spiked off the charts. "They're charging their main weapon," shouted the science officer. "If that hits us, we're done for." Panic threatened to overtake the crew, but Maria remained calm. "Initiate Operation Sunburst," she commanded. At once, hundreds of Earth's ships moved in perfect synchronization. They formed a massive three-dimensional grid in space, each vessel glowing with energy. On the Imperial planet killer, Admiral Xan watched with curiosity. "What are these primitives up to now?" he wondered aloud. Suddenly, beams of intense energy shot out from each Earth ship, connecting with the others in a dazzling web of light. The energy built rapidly, growing brighter and brighter until it rivaled the stars themselves. "Fire the planet killer," San ordered, realizing too late that something was amiss. The Imperial weapon discharged, sending a devastating beam towards Earth's fleet. But as it struck the energy web, something incredible happened. The web absorbed the blast, growing even brighter. "Impossible," San exclaimed, his eyes wide with disbelief. Back on Tommy's hope, Maria allowed herself a small smile. Dr. Tanaka's plan was working. "Now," she said quietly, "let's show them what Earth can do." With a command from Maria, the energy web collapsed inward, focusing all its power, combined with the absorbed energy from the Imperial weapon, into a single point. Then, with a flash that momentarily outshone the nearby sun, it released a beam of unimaginable power straight at the planet killer. The Imperial ship's shields held for a moment, then failed spectacularly. The beam cut through the massive vessel like a hot knife through butter, splitting it in two. Cheers erupted across Earth's fleet as the planet killer exploded in a dazzling fireball. They had done the impossible. They had destroyed the Empire's ultimate weapon. But the battle was far from over. Enraged by the loss of their superweapon, the remaining Imperial ships attacked with renewed fury. The space around them became a storm of laser fire and explosions. As the fight raged on, Dr. Elena Rossi made her move. Using the confusion of battle as cover, she maneuvered her stealth ship close to the Imperial flagship. "It's now or never," she told her team. With a deep breath, she activated the transmitter. In the Imperial throne room, Emperor Zorn was shouting orders when suddenly, every screen went blank. Then, to his shock, the image of a human woman appeared. "Emperor Zorn," Dr. Rossi said, her voice firm but calm. "I am Dr. Elena Rossi of Earth. We've hacked into your systems to deliver a message. This war is pointless. We've destroyed your planet killer. Your fleet is in disarray. But it's not too late to end this peacefully." Zorn's multiple eyes blinked in surprise. "You dare?" "We dare," Rossi interrupted, "because we fight for our right to exist. But we're not bloodthirsty. We're scientists, explorers, dreamers. We could be powerful allies instead of enemies. Think of what we could accomplish together." Her words gave the Emperor pause. For the first time, he saw humans not as primitives, but as a force to be reckoned with and perhaps respected. As Rossi spoke, the battle outside took an unexpected turn. Some of the Imperial ships, inspired by her words and impressed by Earth's strength, began to stand down. Others, loyal to the Emperor, fought on. Captain Rodriguez, seeing the shift in the battle, made a bold decision. "All ships," she broadcast, "focus fire on the loyalist Imperial vessels. Let's show those who would stand down that we can be merciful. The tide of battle turned decisively. One by one, Imperial ships either surrendered or were destroyed. Earth's fleet, though battered and reduced in numbers, stood victorious. As the last shots faded away, a tense silence fell over the battlefield. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. Would Emperor Zorn choose peace, or would his pride doom them all to further bloodshed? In the eerie quiet of space, billions of humans and aliens alike held their breath, waiting to see what the future would hold. The silence that followed the battle was deafening. Debris from destroyed ships floated aimlessly in space, a grim reminder of the cost of war. On board Tommy's Hope, Captain Maria Rodriguez waited anxiously for Emperor Zorn's response to Dr. Rossi's plea for peace. Suddenly, the main screen flickered to life. Emperor Zorn's alien face filled the view, his multiple eyes blinking rapidly. "Humans of Earth," he began, his voice a mix of anger and grudging respect. "You have fought well, too well for a species we deemed primitive. Perhaps we were mistaken." A collective gasp went through the bridge crew. Was this the moment they had fought so hard for? Zorn continued, "I propose a ceasefire. We will meet to discuss terms of peace and reparations for our actions against your world." Maria couldn't believe her ears. They had done it. They had forced the mighty Galactic Empire to the negotiating table. "We accept, Emperor Zorn," she replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Let us end this conflict and begin a new chapter for both our peoples." As the news spread through Earth's fleet, cheers erupted on every ship. Tears of joy and relief flowed freely. They had avenged Tommy and secured humanity's place among the stars. Back on Earth, the reaction was even more jubilant. Streets filled with celebrating crowds. Strangers hugged each other, united in their relief and pride. In Millbrook, Tommy's parents stood in their yard, looking up at the night sky. "He would be so proud," Tommy's mother said softly, tears in her eyes. His father nodded, squeezing her hand. "Our boy changed the universe." Months passed. The peace negotiations were long and often tense, but progress was made. Earth gained recognition as a sovereign power in the galaxy. The Galactic Empire agreed to share advanced technology as reparation for Tommy's death. Dr. Yuki Tanaka found herself working alongside alien scientists, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. "This is beyond my wildest dreams," she often said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Dr. Elena Rossi became Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, her diplomatic skills instrumental in navigating the complex politics of their new interstellar community. But not everything was smooth sailing. Some on Earth called for continued conflict, arguing that the Empire couldn't be trusted. Others feared that rapid technological advancement would change humanity for the worse. Captain Maria Rodriguez, now Admiral Rodriguez, addressed these concerns in a global broadcast. "We faced our greatest challenge and emerged stronger," she said, "but our real test begins now. We must remember what we fought for. Not just vengeance, but the right to exist, to explore, to grow. We must ensure that in reaching for the stars, we don't lose what makes us human." Her words resonated across the planet. Slowly but surely, Earth adapted to its new role in the galaxy. 5 years after the war's end, a grand ceremony was held in Millbrook. A statue of Tommy was unveiled, but it wasn't just a memorial. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder of how far humanity had come. As the statue was revealed, a fleet of ships, human and alien alike, flew overhead in formation. Former enemies, now allies, united in a display of peace. Lieutenant Zax, the Imperial soldier who had killed Tommy, attended the ceremony. He approached Tommy's parents, his head bowed in shame. "I cannot undo what I did," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "But I vow to spend my life working for peace between our peoples. Your son's memory will never be forgotten." Tommy's parents, though their hearts still ached, nodded in acceptance. It was a small step, but an important one on the long road to true understanding between species. As night fell, people gathered to watch the stars. But now, instead of fear, they felt wonder and excitement. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, but also incredible opportunities. In a classroom on the other side of the world, a young girl raised her hand. "Teacher," she asked, her eyes shining with curiosity, "when I grow up, can I visit other planets?" The teacher smiled. "Yes," she replied. "Thanks to Tommy and all those who fought for us, you can reach for any star you choose." And so, humanity looked to the future. They had faced their darkest hour and emerged triumphant. The road ahead was long and uncertain, but they would face it together, guided by the memory of a brave little boy whose life had changed the course of galactic history. In the vast expanse of space, Earth's fleet stood watch, a testament to human resilience and a promise of adventures yet to come.